Hello, my dear students. This is CB Soni. I hope you all were doing well. Today, under the section English Literature, that is Honeydew, we are going to start the poem of chapter 7, that is When I Set Out for Lyonnesse. Its text is, when I set out for Lyonnesse 100 miles away, the rime was on the spray and starlight lit my lonesomeness. When I set out for Lyonnesse 100 miles away. What would be chance at Lyonnesse while I should sojourn there? No prophet durst declare, nor did the wisest wizard guess. What would be chance at Lyonnesse while I should sojourn there? When I returned from Lyonnesse with magic in my eyes, all marked with mute surmise, my radiance rare and fathomless, when I returned from Lyonnesse with magic in my eyes. My dear students, the thorough explanation of this poem will be explained to you in our live class. Today in this video we have to see about the poet and the incident at which this poem was written, and what is Lyonnesse and the central idea of the poem. We will see one by one. Okay, first about the poet. The poet of When I Set Out for Lyonnesse is Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy, an English novelist and a poet, was born near Dorchester in England. He was one of the great English writers of the 19th and early 20th century. Hardy's father was a stone mason and influenced Thomas to take up a career as an architect. Gothic architecture influenced Hardy's poetry. It provided a powerful model for artistic unity and complexity in his works. Now we have to see the incident at which the draft of the poem was written. As a young apprentice architect, British poet and novelist Thomas Hardy once visited Paris to supervise the restoration of a church. On his return from the parish, people noticed two things about him: a new glow in his eyes and a crumpled piece of paper sticking out of his coat pocket. That paper, it is recorded in one of his biographies, contained the draft of a poem, that is, When I Set Out for Lyonnesse. Now, we are going to read that very poem inspired by a visit to a place which the poet calls Lyonnesse. What is Lyonnesse? Lyonnesse, in Arthurian legend, the mythical birthplace of Sir Tristram in England, and it is believed that it had been submerged by the sea. Here in this poem, it is an imaginary place. Now we have to see the central idea or the summary of the poem. The poem, When I Set Out for Lyonnesse, narrates the poet's visit to an imaginary place, that is Lyonnesse. In the opening part of the poem, the poet mentions that Lyonnesse is 100 miles away. He adds that the journey to Lyonnesse was a lonesome one. He started for Lyonnesse on a cold night. He informs us that it was very cold and the night sky was full of stars. He had to travel 100 miles in such circumstances to reach there. The poet did not know what happened at Lyonnesse during his stay there. He informs us that no prophet or any wise magician could guess what happened with him in Lyonnesse. The only thing he was aware of was a strange glow in his eyes when he came back. The radiance in his eyes was rare and deep, and it could not be measured. People could see it, but they could not understand its mystery, so they remained silent. Now we have to see something more about the poem. The rhyming scheme of the poem is, as we can see here, Lyonnesse, away, so Lyonnesse will be A, away will be B. Spray is the same as away, so B. Lonesomeness will be A, Lyonnesse again A, and away again B. So its rhyming scheme is A, B, B, A, B. Okay, my dear student? The rhyming scheme of this poem is A, B, B and A, B. Poetic device used in this poem is alliteration and refrain. What is alliteration and what is refrain? Let us see. As we see in the second stanza of the poem, that is, what would be chance at Lyonnesse while I should sojourn there? No prophet durst declare, nor did the wisest wizard guess. इस स्टेंजा में हम देखेंगे कि एलिट्रेशन यानी कि अनुप्रास अलंकार का यूज हुआ है। अनुप्रास अलंकार का मतलब होता है कि किसी भी लाइन में कुछ ऐसे शब्द आए हों जिनमें पहला अक्षर रिपीट हो रहा हो, जैसे व्हाट वुड। इसमें इस लाइन में व्हाट डब्ल्यू से शुरू हो रहा और वुड भी डब्ल्यू से शुरू हो रहा। सेकेंड लाइन व्हाइल आई शुड सोजर्न, शुड एस से शुरू हो रहा, सोजर्न एस से शुरू हो रहा। नो प्रॉफिट डस्ट डिक्लेयर, डस्ट डी से स्टार्ट हो रहा, डिक्लेयर भी डी से स्टार्ट हो रहा। नॉर डिड द वाइजेस्ट विजार्ड, वाइजेस्ट डब्ल्यू से स्टार्ट हो रहा और विजार्ड भी डब्ल्यू से स्टार्ट हो रहा। इसलिए इसमें एलिट्रेशन, फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच का, पोएटिक डिवाइस का यूज हुआ है। नाउ रिफ्रेन। रिफ्रेन पोएटिक डिवाइस उसे कहते हैं जब कविता की शुरुआती कुछ लाइनें स्टेंजा के लास्ट में बार बार रिपीट हो रही हूं। जैसे पहले स्टेंजा की शुरुआत होती है When I set out for Lyonnesse 100 miles away, और जब पहला स्टेंजा खत्म होता है तो यही लाइन रिपीट की जाती है, When I set out for Lyonnesse 100 miles away। सेकेंड स्टेंजा जो कि शुरू होता है What would be chance at Lyonnesse while I should sojourn there, और इसी लाइन पे ये खत्म होता है What would be chance at Lyonnesse while I should sojourn there। थर्ड स्टेंजा भी When I returned from Lyonnesse with magic in my eyes, इससे शुरू होकर इसी लाइन पर खत्म होता है When I returned from Lyonnesse with magic in my eyes। इस प्रकार के डिवाइस को रिफ्रेन कहते हैं। Now, the poetic tone used in the poem is optimistic yet mystic. Poetic theme: journeys often lead to fruitful outcome, and its message is we should always have hope. We should always have hope, curiosity, perseverance, and optimism for our goal. Working with the poem. First question. In the first stanza, find words that show that it was very cold, that it was late evening, that the traveler was alone। तो आंसर में हम that it was very cold को हम the rhyme was on the spray से क्लियर करेंगे। that it was late evening will be cleared with the word starlight, and that the traveler was alone is cleared by the phrase my lonesomeness from the poem. Second question. First of the second question. Something happened at Lyonnesse. It was improbable, impossible, or unforeseeable. Its answer is unforeseeable. Second question of the second. Pick out two lines from stanza 2 to justify your answer. So its answer is no prophet durst declare, nor did the wisest wizard guess. Now, question number 3. First off, question number 3 is read the line stanza 3 that implies the following: everyone noticed something and they made guesses but didn't speak a word. Its answer is all marked with mute surmise. Second, now read the line that refers to what they noticed. Its answer is my radiance rare and fathomless. All these lines are taken from the poem. The poem is finished here, my students. Thank you very much. Goodbye.